A new student finds that classes at Hyde seem the same, and yet they are different. The subjects are familiar. But the approach is new. Knowledge itself is considered less important than attitude towards learning.
Voilà une place. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici et ici et ici? Des rues, hein? Okay? Des rues. Okay?
This class in government, for instance, is not just reading textbooks. It's working on a poll to find out how people feel about the American political system. The students wrote the questionnaire themselves, and here the teacher's trying it out on another teacher.
Who do you feel, or who do you think will be the Democratic nominee for the presidency? Could you kind of briefly explain why?
Because I think he's in control of the party machinery.
Okay. Who do you feel will be the Republican nominee for the presidency?
When it's completed, the class will take the poll from door to door in towns around the school. In this class in communications, the students are learning what it's like to be blind. Before this experiment ends, they'll keep their blindfolds on for a full 24 hours. The new student learns that every part of his life at Hyde is important. A teacher is assigned to guide him, keep a constant check on his work and attitude, and counsel him on his growth as a person.
I think it's possible when you get too many things going that you start leaving all kinds of loose ends.
Exactly.
And the problem is that the more loose ends you leave, the more impossible it becomes to do something really well.
Right.
And unless we can dedicate ourselves really to excellence in everything that you do, then we're running a losing battle.
Right.
You know. I wonder if you shouldn't maybe cut out some of these activities and start doing other things really well.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of that.
I'd like to see him concentrating, you know, in class.
If his problems become serious, his advisor takes them to one of the daily faculty meetings. There, the entire faculty discuss the problems and try to develop solutions for them.
And he's always complaining about too much reading when there's sophomores and freshmen in the class which are doing the reading with no problem at all. He's not dedicated to getting anything out of the class. I think he wants to go to a lecture and be told what he just read instead of really working at it.
Well, that's the same thing in that. I'm still very much concerned about his trying to make me think that he knows what's going on. When actually he's giving me a little bit of a game. He's still, maybe not so much in September, but definitely trying to say, oh yeah, I get this, I know this, when actually I know sometimes he doesn't.
That was the big thing this summer, wasn't it? The image problem. I see this perhaps in your mythology, the business of trying to be a big man, trying to draw attention to himself in all sorts of ways. See this in the hall a little bit, particularly with the girls, don't you?
Feed you what you want to hear, you know, make a good impression.
Right, this summer, like in the watch, he walked that fine line of trying to please the kids on one side and the adult, the teacher, whatever it was, on the other side, and he was playing one against the other, so that he kind of was feeling his way. That's the way it was.
Does he please the kids, or do they get
well, this summer they really got turned off by it, and they nailed him for it, and yet he said, well, I'm trying, tell me what to do.
But he doesn't learn from experience, and it's driving me up a wall.
That's the real problem. We're not getting to the guy.
Driving us up a wall.
Now, what are you going to do about it?
One good approach for him, because he is so image conscious, is to bust the image across the board. He's fine on a one-to-one basis. We ran into problems this fall with soccer, with his attitude on the bus, the way he was chipping away at people, being Mr. Funny Man. But as soon as the whole team rejected it, then it changed.
You're just going to have to just hang on and push him to the point of actually maybe packing his bags and everything else. And somewhere along the line, you have to bet on the fact that when you get to that point, and he makes that key decision, he's going to go your way, not the other.
Because right now, we're more important to him than the kids, and this is why he'll be able to play the kids off. And however, I think we've got to bet on the kids too, because this is what happened in summer. They really nailed him for what he really was, and that finally made some impression on him. And so we've got to bet on the kids, but yet we've got to be really on this kid in terms of the way he is going to approach that. Anytime you see the image business just let it, throw it right back in his face.
Well, that's, I agree with Sumner, though, on one thing. He'll handle that very well on a one-to-one basis. But boy, because he still thinks, I'm sure, that he can snow you as an individual. I think you got to bow down and strip him of his image in front of everybody.
I would do that. The other thing, I just don't even bother talking with him. This is what we tried this summer. Yeah. Don't even, if he comes up to you, just say, go away, and let him prove it through action, which he has never done. You know, in action. In voice, boy, he's great, you know, but in action, he has just never done it.
Because of the students' commitments to one another, there are no casual relationships among the boys and girls at Hyde. A new boy finds his fellow students quick to make friends, but just as quick to criticize him if he isn't measuring up to the school's ideals. And they'll tell him when he begins to find his way. Often, a boy will first discover he's changed at his weekly seminar. The seminar is a meeting where students in each class discuss their development and evaluate one another's growth. It takes real courage and concern for them to develop the trust necessary to help one another. A critical function of the headmaster is to guide this process.
I know Tom. Oh. I've known you since the very first day of summer school, since you came here. And you were just couldn't care about a thing. You just wanted to hack around, just all day long. And there was a certain change in you between your sophomore year and your junior year. Like over summer, something happened, you took on responsibilities more. You took it upon yourself to see that they went through. You cared more, and something just changed. Sophomore and freshman year are sort of just the same, and summer school and freshman year the same, but between sophomore and junior, something happened. You changed, and you want to do it now. You want to take on responsibilities. You want to handle them. Something, you just want to. That's a general. You don't want to have
somebody else that was here last year. Did you see this? Did you feel this thing last year? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way the first light I ever saw you in. Because I remember when I first came last year, the first thing I can remember about you was one of the class meetings, and you were really like leading it on and everything. And I didn't see you when you're fooling around like that wasn't the first thing I saw you.
What about this? What can you tell us?
I don't really know. I think it's pretty hard to say. I think it's just a matter of time being in the school. I mean, if you come to the school and you stay the same the entire time that you're here, then something's really wrong.